Alrighty, so this video is supposed to help you with these worksheets that we did in class, and let me just go through how to do some of them. So this first one is on elimination, and the two ways, oh no, I'm new to this, is subtraction and addition. And then, oh, why is it? And then the third way is multiplication. And then with multiplication, then you can add or you can subtract. Okay, so this first one, we see that the negative 4x and then there's a positive 4x. So if we add these equations together, the negative 4x and the 4x can cancel out. So okay, sorry guys. I don't understand. It's not my normal. Let's see. How do I? Okay, so this negative 4x and the 4x cancel out. So we have, technical difficulties, I'll get this eventually, is 0x. And then negative 2y plus 8y is going to be equal to 6y. Negative 12 plus a negative 24 is going to be negative 36. We can divide both sides by 6 because this value is gone now. When we get this, we're going to get y is equal to negative 6. So that's your first answer. And then you can plug this y equals negative 6 back into one of your original equations. So I'm going to plug it back into this first equation. So I'm going to say negative 4x minus 2 times negative 6 is equal to negative 12. So I have negative 4x plus 12 is equal to negative 12. When I subtract negative 12 from both sides, I'm running out of space. I get negative 4x equals negative 24. I can divide by negative 4. I'm going to get x is equal to positive 6. So then my answer, I'm going to write 6 because that's my x, and my y of negative 6. And that's my answer. Okay, that's one type of problem. Let's see, let's find one that is not like that. Okay, this one, number 6. This one would be a subtraction problem because you can see this positive y's. They have the same value before their y, but they're both positive. So we can't, we're going to subtract these equations. So we're going to say minus ax minus a negative 3x is going to give us 11x. When we say y minus y, our y's cancel out. And then we say negative 16 minus a negative 5. So minus 16 minus a negative 5. We have negative 16 plus 5, right? So we're going to get that's going to be equal negative 11, right? If I divide both sides by 11, we're going to be x equal to negative 1. Let me get rid of this real quick. Okay, so then we're going to plug our negative 1 back into this original equation. So I'm going to get 8 times negative 1 plus y is equal to negative 6. So we get negative 8 plus y is equal to negative 16. We can add 8 to both sides. We get y is equal to negative 8. Our final answer is going to be negative 1. That's our x value. And our y is negative 8. Okay, so we've gone number 1 up here. We've done subtraction. I will get this eventually. Okay, number one, our subtraction was this one. We subtracted them when they have the same value, and then we added them when they have opposite signs. So subtraction, this is a good rule of thumb, is that subtraction is used when you have the same sign. And addition is used when you have opposite signs. Okay? Okay, so let's see here. All of these, same sign, opposite sign, all the way up till 9. Okay, 9 is a little different. We don't have the same coefficient in front of any of them. We can't cancel by adding or subtracting. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to multiply first. So I'm going to multiply this top equation all by 2. And we're going to get 10x plus 2y is equal to 18. So we have 10x minus 7y equal to negative 18, and 10x plus 2y is equal to 18 from this top equation. So now what we can do, now we have the same values, right? We have a 10x and a 10x. This means that we can subtract it, right? Because we have the same sign, and we have the same sign, we can subtract. So 10x minus 10x is 0x. And then negative 7y minus 2y gives us negative 9y. We get negative 18 minus 18 is going to give us negative, oh wait, that's an equal sign, and then our negative 36. We divide it by negative 9, we get negative 36 over negative 9, we get our y is equal to 4. Okay, so now we can plug this original one into this top equation right here. That's what I'm going to do. Before we multiply, that's the equation I'm going to use. So I'm going to say 5x plus 4 is equal to 9. I just plugged my y equals 4 into this y. So I'm going to subtract 4. I'm going to get 5x equal to 5. When I divide both sides by 5, I get x equal to 1. And my answer is going to be 1 and 4. Okay. So the first one we add, because we have our opposite signs. The second one this one we did was subtract because we have the same sign. And then this one we need to make the coefficients the same on one of these x values. And so we multiplied and then we subtracted. And we can multiply and then add if the signs are opposite. Or you can even multiply this by a different number. So I'm going to show another way to do this problem. Instead of multiplying this top one by 2 like we did in order to get our 10x, we could have multiplied it by 7, because then we have 35x plus 7y is equal to 63. So now we have our 7y and our 7y, and then we would add the equations together to get our answer, and we should get the same answer. So that's another way to do that one. Okay, let's see. There are ones that you can't just multiply one equation. Those are, so let's see here. Oh no. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. Okay. So let me see here. Let's do 19. So as you can say, we can't multiply 4 by anything to get us to 10, and we can't multiply 2 by anything to get us to 7. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to multiply both equations. So I'm going to multiply this. Oh, we need to write. We're going to multiply this top equation by 10 and this bottom equation by 4. And so when we do this, we get negative 40x minus 20y is equal to 140. And then this one, when we do it, is negative 40x plus 28y is equal to negative 100. Right? So now this is our new system of equations that we're working with. And we have the same values or coefficients on our x, so we are good to go. So since we have the same sign, what we can do is we can subtract, right? If you have the same sign, you subtract. So we get negative 40x minus a negative 40x. That's going to give us 0x. Negative 20y minus a positive 28y is going to give us negative 48y. Hold on. What just happened? Okay, let's see. Let's keep going. See what happens. So we get 140 minus a negative 100 is going to give us 240. If we divide both sides by negative 48, ooh, big numbers. Okay. Y is equal to, that's a good question. How many times does this 48 go into there? It should go in, it should work. Because it's going to go in, it should go in 5 times. Let's try. 8 times 5 is 40. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 4 is 24. Okay, so we get negative 5 for our y. Okay, so now we don't have to plug this y into the equations we made. We can, we can plug it into one of our original equations. So I'm going to choose one of the easier ones. So we got our y as negative 5. So I'm going to use this top equation. You can use either one. So I'm going to go negative 4x minus 2 times 5. Wait, was it negative? Yes, negative 5. Can't forget the negative. Negative 5 is equal to 14. So we get negative 4x plus 10 is equal to 14. If we subtract 10 from both sides, we're going to get negative 4x is equal to 4. Divide by negative 4, we're going to get x equals negative 1. So now our final answer can be negative 1, negative 5. Okay, so you have 4 different ways you can do these problems, right? If we have the same sign, we subtract. If we have opposite signs, we add. We can multiply one equation and add or subtract, or we can multiply both equations and add or subtract. So that is the first worksheet. Okay, for the second worksheet, this one's pretty simple. It's by substitution. So everything we're doing, we're substituting it in. So we're not adding, subtracting, any of that. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to take this first one, or this second one right here. So we see y is equal to x minus 1. If y is equal to x minus 1, we can plug y equals x minus 1 into this first equation. So we can say 2x minus 3 times x, times x minus 1 is equal to negative 1. I just plugged this x minus 1, y equals x minus 1. So where we see y in this first equation, we plug in x minus 1. So then we can solve. And we can say when we distribute, we get negative 3 times x, and we get negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 1, we get positive 3 is equal to negative 1. We get negative x plus 3 is equal to negative 1. Negative 1. And then we subtract 3. We get negative x is equal to negative 4. So we can say x is equal to 4. So now we have a super simple equation to find y. Is we have y equals x minus 1. So we can plug our x value back in. We get y equals 4 minus 1. And so we can see that y is equal to 3. So our final answer is going to be 4, 3. Okay, these first couple are just where y is equal to that, but let's get a little bit more complicated. So this equation down here is a little bit different. I would you can rearrange the equation so that it has a y equals, or you can rearrange this bottom equation and say x is equal to 11 plus 2y. So now in any part on this first equation where it says x, we can replace it with the equation 11 plus 2y. So we can say negative 2 times 11 plus 2y minus 2y is equal to negative 13. So we can say when we distribute, we get negative 77 minus 14y minus 2y is equal to negative 13. So we can add 77 to both sides, and then we can combine these. So I'm going to just do both steps at the same time. So we get negative 16y is equal to, brain working on slow speed. It's going to be 64. Okay. We divide both sides by negative 16, and our y is equal to negative 4. Okay, so now we can use this equation that we made in order to find our x value. So we can say x is equal to 11 plus 2y, and our y is equal to negative 4. So we can say 11 plus 2 times negative 4. So we go 11 plus a negative 8, and we get x is equal to 3. So our solution is 3, negative 4. Okay. Let's go to the last page. So, a couple things with these. On this last one, I want you guys to solve it, like I mentioned in class, by substitution. So, you can look at these and realize that, like, this one has opposite signs, and so hypothetically you should add them, but we're going to do it by substitution for this worksheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bottom equation and make it a y equals equation. So I'm going to make it, I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, and I'm going to get 3y is equal to negative 3 minus 3x, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So I'm going to get y is equal to negative 1 minus x. So this is the equation I'm going to use in order to substitute back in here. So we're going to get negative 3x minus 4. I'm substituting back into this first equation. So I have negative 1 minus x is equal to 2. All right. So then I can distribute. So I have 3x negative and negative is positive, plus 4. And then a negative 4 times a negative x is going to give us a positive 4x is equal to 2. We're going to subtract 4 from both sides and combine negative 3 and 4. So we get x, 1x, right? Negative 3 plus 4 is 1x. And 2 minus 4 is going to give us negative 2. So we see our x value is negative 2. We can plug this x value into this equation that we built ourselves. So we can say y is equal to negative 1 minus negative 2. So negative 1 plus, essentially, 2 is going to give us y equals 1. So our answer is negative 2, 1. Okay. This is both the worksheets, every single possible way you can do it. For every single worksheet and every single problem you can do, you can also plug it back into the equation, plug it back into a different equation to test whether it's true. So, for instance, I'll do it for this. I'll do it for this particular problem. So if I get negative 2, 1 as my, as my answer, I can plug it back into one of my original equations to see if it works. So I'm going to plug it back into this top equation. So we have negative 3 times our x value of negative 2 minus 4 times our y value of 1 is equal to 2. Negative 3 times negative 2 is going to give us 6, and 4 times 1 is 4 equals 2. We see that this works, so we are good. That is a check mark. That was a bad check mark, but there you go. Okay, so that is all. Just key things, remember this. Subtraction if it's same sign, addition if it's opposite signs, and sometimes you have to multiply and then add or subtract. And remember, for this second part is you are going to have to multiply both equations by something. For this one in particular, you could have multiplied this top equation by 7 and this bottom equation by 2 and worked with your y's, but we just worked with our x's. But either way, we'll get you the same answer. Should get you the same answer, that is. And then the second worksheet, make sure that you find your substitution as either it should be a y equals or a x equals, and then you plug that into your other equation you have. Okay, so I hope this is helpful, and if you have questions, we can talk about it tomorrow.